Welcome to
Crazy, right?
A podcast
Be your own person.
for those affected by
Crazy, right?
mental health,
I wanted to just try it.
Crazy,
It's something that I've struggled with for a while.
featuring live improvised music
Now I finally got my head right again.
by your host,
am I right? Crazy,
It feels good to talk about it.
right? Crazy, right?
Dave Asher.
My guest today is speaking anonymously, going by the name Dee. They are a transgender computer programmer living in Chicago. She struggles with depression and food addiction. Dee, thank you for joining me here today in my studio. I'm going to step over here to my piano. It's basically just the two of us having a chat.
Okay.
What's the last book you read or TV show you watched?
I'm just pretty geeky, and I liked Star Trek pretty early on. I don't know, that was just big in my house.
How did you get into computer programming?
In first grade, when I was in first grade, my father sat me down and he put me on his lap, and he sort of wrote a program for that I was going to use in school. He sort of wrote it for me, but it was sort of interactive.
And what was it like working on a project like that with your father? Were you close?
So my memory actually isn't very good. I'm not sure why, but I don't remember things even past 2 days ago. But I'm told that he was kind of emotionally abusive and occasionally physically abusive.
Do you see a therapist?
Yes, definitely. I couldn't not see a therapist. Right now I'm looking for a job, so I talk about that a lot. I guess I have an eating disorder, so we talk about that.
How long have you been talking about this eating disorder?
The past maybe 6 months. Well, I've gained a lot of weight in the past year. Well, my depression has been also bad, so it's sort of intertwined with the depression. Being depressed, you have anhedonia, which is a fancy word, which means you don't enjoy anything. But food is the only thing I do enjoy when I'm depressed.
What does it feel like when that depression starts to creep in? And
I have a lot of avoidance, and so when I have like difficult emotions that I don't want to work through, I tend to. One way to avoid is food, one way is sleep, another way is just playing on my phone for hours.
what is it that you're avoiding?
Either boredom or difficult emotions.
I can definitely relate to that.
People who are depressed often stop enjoying things, so they might previously have enjoyed knitting, but now they stop all their hobbies. I did some metalworking.
And do you still enjoy that?
I've moved on to some whittling and harmonica playing.
Do you ever sing?
No, I'd like to, but no.
Have you ever hummed?
Sure.
If I did a little humming, would you hum something back to me?
Not on record.
Does your mind wander?
Oh, my mind always wanders.
What are you thinking about right now?
That I want a microphone like this.
You like to record.
I record my harmonica.
So we got a harmonica jam going here, D.
always hope that when I take my medicine in the morning that it will improve my depression, like in the short term, but I don't think it really does. I think the medications take 12 to 24 hours to kick in. Well, if you take the meds at a frequency that is prescribed, then it will sort of even out.
So overall, you're on 9 medications for being trans female with the hormone therapy, the depression meds, and by and large, your endorsement of meds would be thumbs up?
Definitely thumbs up in terms of, I used to be very suicidal. I used to think about suicide a lot. Just especially when I was depressed, I would think about suicide a lot. And 1 or 2 of my meds, I'm not sure which, have turned that into, instead of in my lowest lows, I just get tired and I go to sleep instead of thinking about suicide. And that's a real improvement.
How often do you go to a support group?
Yeah, I see a therapist. I have an eating disorder support group once a week. I have a depression support group once a week. I have another depression support group. Sometimes I go. And then I have another depression support group I go to every other week.
With your therapist, have you ever thought back to your childhood to see if there's any connection between your thoughts and behaviors now and anything that might have happened to you as a child?
I mean, certainly, in my eating disorder program, they would talk about, like, what were your practices at the table, at home when you were a child. If your parents had a standard that you have to eat everything on your plate, well, that you can see how that might lead to an eating disorder.
And before, you mentioned something about that there might have been some abuse.
Yeah, there was.
There was?
Yeah.
What was that about?
My father spanked the kids a lot. He said he didn't do it in anger, but he did. The worst time he ever did it was he spanked my brother's bottom until it was bloody. He only did that once, though. He would throw the paddle. He hit a mirror and broke it one time. One time he broke down. I was in my bedroom with the door closed, and I guess I had locked it, and he just smashed the door down. He often punched holes in the wall, and I started picking that up, and I started punching holes in the wall too.
Do you get angry today still?
No, I went through a couple phases. I was very angry in high school, and I got suspended from school a couple times for getting in fights, and once in a while instigating the fights.
And at this point, you identified as male?
Yes. And then for a while, I thought that all emotions were invalid because I just saw how destructive they could be. And so I rejected all of my emotions and thought that they didn't exist. Until I sort of started to have a panic attack at one point, and my sister was like, "Dee, that's emotion. That's your emotion right there."
So you were blocking off emotions, and then they came out.
Yeah. As they have to.
What does that mean? They have to?
Well, you can't bottle your emotions up forever. You have to process them at some point, and if you don't, the bottle is gonna burst.
Where are you on that path of bottling emotions in a bursted bottle?
I'm a lot more aware of my emotions now. I think mindfulness is very important. And I think, like, For instance, figuring out the emotions that lead to binge eating, or figuring out what emotions lead me to run away when I'm applying for jobs. That's really important, because otherwise I can't solve the problem if I'm not aware of what led to it.
What are your triggers emotionally?
Feeling inadequate, I don't know, lots of regret.
What do you feel inadequate about?
Oh, when I'm applying to jobs, just feeling like I wouldn't be able to do the job. Seeing parallels between that job and previous jobs where I failed. But I think there are opportunities for learning, I think, when I do a new job.
What are some opportunities to learn?
In the past, I haven't been very good at communication, or I've been very scared to communicate in certain circumstances.
And you said some triggers might be thinking about regrets. What are some things that you regret?
I don't even remember, but they can be pretty intense, like things that I felt like I did something stupid, or especially socially. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know.
Well, I've enjoyed talking with you, Dee.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you again to my guest, Dee. Visit the Depression Bipolar Support Alliance, or DBSA, in a group near you or online at dbsalliance.org. And check out smartrecovery.org for addiction recovery support. Take care, Dee. All the best. That wraps up this episode of Crazy Right with Dave Asher. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider writing a review or rating this podcast. And of course, we would love it if you subscribe. I'm Dave Asher, and I'm glad to be here.